Ladies and gentlemen, the red wave has already begun. In a special election, Republican Mayra Flores has won in Texas in a district that is 84% Hispanic and Democrat +5. Let me put it simply. Hispanic voters are fleeing the Democratic Party. They're voting Republican. And if this is indicative of what we're going to see come November, Democrats with a 5-point advantage in this district lost. It's going to get pretty bad. And I don't think you need this story to figure out why. You need only look at gas prices over $5. At this point, I don't think Democrats stand a chance of winning anything other than like D plus 30 districts. But I think we're going to be surprised in places like New York where, yeah, the Democrat will probably win, but it's going to be by shocking margins. I do think in safe blue districts, they're going to win handily. I mean, they're going to get 10 plus points. But in a D plus 30, what if we end up seeing, AOC, for instance, she's in a D plus 28, meaning when you poll people, Democrats have like a 28% advantage, something like that. What if she ends up only winning by like single digits because people are just switching Republican? That may be the case. And the reason I bring up AOC in particular is because Mayra Flores is in a Hispanic district. These are typically Democrat voters, but they're saying no. And it's a near border district. It's on the water. Well, I'll show you the 34th congressional district, and I'll show you the map. But this is big. I don't think politics matters all that much. I really, really don't. I made that mistake in 2018 when I was talking about culture war issues, thinking Republicans would win because regular people were getting fed up with this stuff. And while I do see younger people getting fed up with a lot of this stuff, it's the economy, stupid. All I got to do is, let me see, we got AAA gas prices. I love pulling up AAA gas prices, $5.01.4. So basically 5.01 if we were to round down. $5 per gallon average. It's apocalyptic. We got more to this story, however. We also have Elon Musk saying he voted Republican for the first time. When you have Elon Musk, who's got, 90 million followers, let's say half of those are bots, 50 million followers paying attention to what he's saying, and he is saying, vote Republican. That matters. That is press you cannot buy. They've lost people like Elon Musk. Now, my friends, you may have noticed I've been out of commission for the past couple of days, and I must admit, even as of now, it is rather difficult for me to be working, but possible. So I'm an old man, and some people said, Tim, certainly you hurt your back skating or skateboarding or something. And I said, no, I simply slept. That's it. That's what happens when you get old. I slept and I woke up and went, I can't move. And so I prioritized Timcast IRL. So because there's more people involved in that, we have other people who want to come on the show and we've booked guests. So I just basically slept all day and my back really does hurt. So keep that in mind as I struggle through producing these segments. Newsweek says Mayra Flores' victory hailed by Republicans. Texas just got more red. They say Flores beat her nearest Democratic challenger, former Cameron County Commissioner Dan Sanchez, by 51% to 43%, edging past the 50% threshold needed to avoid a runoff. Flores' victory in the 34th district, which was left vacant by Philemon Vela's resignation in March, makes her the first Latina Republican from Texas in Congress, and apparently she is the first Mexican-born member of Congress and Republican. Republicans are laughing about that. Like, where's the diversity, Democrats? The victory will pile pressure onto the Democrats, who are trying to hold onto their slim majority in the midterms. The GOP will also be hoping Flores' victory will boost the congressional campaigns of other Latina candidates in southern Texas, such as Janie Lopez, Monica de la Cruz, and Cassie Garcia. Let's take a look at these numbers. Tell you why this is so massive. But let me push back a little bit, too. First, let me say, this is a special election, which means you are likely seeing people who pay more attention going out and voting. As we know, Republicans tend to pay more attention, or I should say people who pay more attention are more likely to vote Republican. So I don't think this is necessarily indicative of what we're going to see, one for one come November. To put it simply, if we go over to the Wikipedia entry for Texas's 34th congressional district, we can see 84.5% Hispanic and Democrat +5. This district voted for Joe Biden 51 to 47. Clinton 59% to 37% in 2016, and Obama 61 to 38. In the past 10 years, it went from a 2-1 Democrat district to barely being Democrat and now flipping Republican. Keep that in mind. When you take a look at states like California, California is 2-1 Democrat to Republican. It's possible in 10 years you see a major flip. One thing that matters in these elections is going to be demographics. It's going to be who's moving to the area, what is the younger generation thinking, and I think this matters too. What may have had an impact here, people got to understand this, it's not always that people are just changing their minds. Some people might think you get a regular Democrat voter, they see gas price and they go, I think I'll vote Republican this time. I don't think so. I think most Democrats who are Democrats, identify as such, are entrenched. Most Republicans are entrenched. But younger people, how are they feeling? What are they thinking? They enter the voting pool and then you start to see numbers shift. I think that might play a huge role here. So let's say this. Out of the 28,990 votes in a special election, in a district of 700, and what are we looking at? 712,000 people. 712, 596. So that's a lot of people. And only 28,990 voted in this special election. I think it's fair to say, look, it sounds good when you've got basically an 8-point swing in a D+5 district. Some people might think that's showing a good signs for November. No, to be fair, I think it is. I do. But keep in mind, 28,990 people voted in a district of 712,000 people. Clearly, this is just Republicans are paying attention. And the people who are paying attention are upset and want change. They came out to vote. And that being said, Democrats in a D+5 district couldn't muster up 15,000 votes in a special election. Okay, sounds to me like there's going to be a major change come November. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at our good friend, Elon Musk. Elon Musk claims he voted Republican for the first time on Tuesday. The billionaire says there will be a massive red wave in November's midterm election. I'd like to say yes. I would like to say, my friends, be ready for a red wave. But I want to add, if the Republicans win, there's no guarantee they'll do anything. And even still, they might not. I think it's fair to say things are looking really, really good. Even the Washington Post said every poll can't be wrong. But Elon Musk is saying not only did he vote Republican for the first time, he's probably going to be voting for Ron DeSantis if DeSantis runs for president. That's where he's leaning. And this is big. Elon Musk, I think, is indicative of a regular person, but it's not just Elon Musk. Did you see Jake Paul? Jake Paul came out and said record gas prices, the market's tanking, crypto is down. Thanks, Joe Biden. He didn't say that literally. He said, this is what the highlights of Joe Biden's presidency. And he says, if you voted for Joe Biden and don't see why he's a problem or you don't regret it, you're the American problem. When Elon Musk and Jake Paul come out, not political influencers, and they're saying, you know what? I am done. Get ready for that red wave, my friends. Gizmodo reports Elon Musk voted for a Republican for the first time on Tuesday, according to a tweet the billionaire sent early Wednesday. Musk has previously insisted he's only voted for Democrats, but made a recent switch to Republicans, a switch made coincidentally or not, just after being contacted for comment by Insider about harassment allegations. I love that narrative they're playing. No. Elon Musk mentioned that they were going to come after him because he had been speaking out, was trying to buy Twitter and defending the Babylon Bee. He said the smear pieces are going to come. Maybe it all is coincidental. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's simply that they're smearing him because he's voting Republican. Maybe he's voting Republican because they're smearing him. Either way, if you come out and start attacking someone because they're saying, yo, let's be fair, don't be surprised if they switch parties and say, you know what? You have earned our ire, and now we're going to be voting against you. The media walks in lockstep with the Democratic Party, and it's about time someone spoke up. Musk has been accused of exposing himself to a SpaceX flight attendant. Now, look, man, they say a charge he denies. Yeah, I don't believe it at all. Elon Musk is reportedly, he's got Asperger's, I believe. He's autistic. I do not see that coming from someone like Elon Musk. It just doesn't make sense to me. It really, really does not. No, I think what happens is you pay out lawsuits and then this is what happens. You've been accused. Someone comes to you with a frivolous lawsuit. Terrible lawyers. I can't stand lawyers, by the way. They always advise you, just pay it. Just pay it. It's easier. Any lawyer who comes to you and says just pay it is a bad lawyer, in my opinion. I'm not giving legal advice. Because what they're saying is, you know, it's going to cost you more money. No, they're wrong. These people do not understand modern politics. Lawyer probably went to Elon and said, Elon, look, it's going to cost you more money to fight this. You pay it, we're done. You sign a gag order or an NDA, you pay it, we're out of here. They'll take it. And then what happens is these people are judgment proof because they don't have money to be sued for. So they leak the settlement. And then not only did you pay out money to somebody who you can't sue after they violate the terms of the agreement, you are now, it's proof. You settled. You did this. I'm sure this stuff is what's leading Elon Musk to say this is not justice and I've had enough. They're going to say Musk, who now lives in Texas, claims he voted for Mayra Flores, a Republican who was running in a special election Tuesday in the 34th congressional district against Democrat Dan Sanchez. He says, I voted for Mayra Flores. First time I ever voted Republican, massive red wave in 2022. Flores, who was endorsed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, also a Republican, campaigned against the right to have an abortion and flipped a House seat that's traditionally gone Democratic. Flores will have a very short time finishing her current term in Congress before she's up for re-election in November. I got to say, guys, I'm not sure she's going to win in November. I really don't think so. I shouldn't say that way. I'm not convinced she will win. I think she has a good chance. An 8-point lead is substantial because it means Democrats aren't paying attention. But come the election, Democrats are going to pull out all the stops. Maybe they just said, we don't care about this. You know, we don't care about the special election, 28,900. It's 6 months. All right. We don't care about the seat. We don't need it. We will see. I want to show you a few things Elon Musk said. In response to this, Pranay Pathol says, Pathol, or however you pronounce it, Elon, is this the first time that has happened with you where you're receiving massive amounts of hate by the top Democrat leaders, Biden, Sanders, AOC, Warren, etc.? Because when Obama was running the office, he used to support the work Tesla and SpaceX were doing. Elon Musk said yes. In another tweet, and maybe it's this one. Okay, so in another tweet, someone said, I assume Republican for president too. Elon Musk says to be determined. Tesla owners of Silicon Valley, the Twitter account says, what are you leaning towards? And he said DeSantis. Pranay says, what do you think about Andrew Yang? Elon says, I supported Yang last time, but DeSantis has a better chance of winning. I don't like Andrew Yang, and I supported him last time. I don't. I think this dude is slimy. I supported Andrew Yang because he had the most comprehensive plan as a presidential candidate. I mean, the amount of issues he was posting on and thinking about, I respected it. But he clearly just wants to pander to the establishment and isn't willing to actually pay attention, takes a job with CNN. I think he did. He did that, right? A contributorship or something. And then he came out and was like, Liz Cheney is very brave. And it's like, dude, okay, you know what? You're not here for the people at all. So no, I don't support the guy, but I did support him last time. Let me show you some stuff. Let me show you this presidential job approval rating. Biden's job approval as of right now. Oh, it is a tankin'. It is lower than it was yesterday. 38.7%, my friends, in aggregate. Again, you need only look at gas prices to realize Joe Biden's in trouble and the Democrats are in trouble. But here's why I highlight this. Right now, the Democrats are postponing their January 6th committee hearing. Scuttlebutt from The Hill. I've got rumors circulating. A couple journalists who work on the who work with people on the Hill. I'm trying to be a little vague, but sources familiar with what's going on said that staffers are being warned. The plan is Roe and Casey will get overturned today, or that some major action is happening which will result in protest, riots, or violence. So they are postponing the Wednesday hearing. Certain federal staff are being told to stay home because they fear it could get violent. Maybe. It's a Wednesday, so we'll see. Maybe I think what'll happen is if whatever the ruling comes down, they'll plan for a Friday when people, can come out. Typically they do this because of students and people with jobs who have the weekend off. People don't like to protest or riot during weekdays, but they do sometimes. But anyway, I digress. The January 6th committee. It's the best they have to offer right now, isn't it? Well, I already showed you the gas prices are over $5, but I'd like to show you this. President Trump's job approval. Now, President Trump's lowest approval rating, I believe, was 37. 37.1, it looks like, was the lowest that Trump got. Okay, that's low. And that was December 16th, 2017. So, he had the media up against him, and I'm not going to pretend he's a perfect president or anything like that. I think he did good later on. But he gets 37.1. Now, here's why I bring this up. I want to be fair and mention that Donald Trump's approval rating has been lower than where Joe Biden is now. But after the events of January 6th, Donald Trump's job approval fell to 39.3. And that was by January 15th, 2021. So immediately following, let me see what we got here. We got January 10th, it was at 42. January 6th, 44.2. And let's just go right after January 6th. Can I zoom in on this thing? It's like so let's do it. We'll do last 30 days. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let's come on, you're refreshing on me. Let's go to the past 30 days. We'll take a look at January 7th. All right. The day after January 6th, with all the news, Trump's approval rating was 43.7. In the following days, it drops to 43, to 42. And let's just say this, okay? By the 11th, he's at 41. That is to say that in the immediate aftermath of January 6th, Donald Trump's aggregate approval rating is higher than what Joe Biden has now. So my point here is, if Donald Trump's aggregate approval rating was in the low 40s after January 6th, why do Democrats think highlighting January 6th now is going to help them when Joe Biden's approval is lower than what Trump's was? You get my point? Meaning there are more people who disapprove of Biden than disapproved of Trump after January 6th. You are spinning your wheels. You are wasting your time. But I think it's fair to say they got nothing. They got nothing. Elon Musk comes out and says, I'm voting Republican. Jake Paul comes out, tells all of his fans. That's the younger generation. I don't know how old Jake Paul is. What is he, like 30-something? Or late 20s? I don't know, honestly. The younger generation is angry. Elon Musk, Gen Xer, I think he is, telling all of his regular fans who don't pay attention to politics, no to Joe Biden. Here's the funny thing. I'll tell you. You go over to Joe Biden's approval rating at 38.7, and you got to ask yourself, if Joe Biden only has the approval of 38.7% of people in the aggregate, so this is all of the polls combined, which is like the best data you're going to get. If more than half, almost 2/3 of this country don't like Joe Biden, don't you think the late night talk show hosts would be saying things like, Joe Biden's a terrible president, he's awful, because it's a safe bet. You want to maximize your market share, it's right here. You know, they say, I got these leftists saying like Tim Pool's just chasing the numbers or whatever. I'm like, dude, it is popular, that's true, to rag on Joe Biden. So what about late night TV hosts? If every single person, if 2/3 of the people of this country are saying Joe Biden's doing a bad job, I do not approve, then I don't understand why people aren't speaking up and saying it. I believe we're looking right now at the silent majority. Regular people scared to speak up, scared to admit publicly that they think Joe Biden is trash. So what do we get? Well, they'll tell the pollsters. They'll say, yeah, I don't like the job he's doing. Will they tell their neighbors? Nope. It's interesting, though. Think about this. The polls have typically skewed against Republicans, which means Biden's approval rating is probably way lower. And not only that, there's also the secret Trump voter, people who are scared to tell pollsters. There's also Trump supporters who lie to pollsters. That being said, we have seen, I think, a 7% swing in favor of Republicans. The polls have been off by that much. Joe Biden's approval rating may be 31%. So January 6th committee hearings, that ain't going to fly. That will accomplish nothing. It's gas prices. It really is. It's the economy. And now what we're hearing is the Fed is going to raise interest rates. And I know a lot of people are ragging on the Fed over this, and I'm not a big fan of the Federal Reserve, but I do want to point out you have hyperinflation. The Fed says we need to slow down spending. There's too much spending and not enough production. So they raise interest rates to try and slow the spending down, which hurts the economy when it's already at low production. So you want to talk about what the Fed can do for us? Apparently, it's going to be bad no matter what. Getting a hold on inflation is extremely important. 8.6, we're seeing 8% inflation month over month. That's really, really bad. Maybe a recession isn't the worst thing in terms of the long term. But I'll tell you this, the policies of this government have been a failure. When you look at Donald Trump, they say, oh, but what we're seeing now, it's not even, it's like by February, we saw wages tank. We had a bunch of executive orders from Biden. And they say, well, that was Trump's doing from the year prior. If that were true, Joe Biden has had longer than a year to reverse it, and he hasn't. Maybe you can argue that the damage done from the governors and Trump in 2020 was too much for the system to bear, and Biden can't reverse it. Maybe, in which case, maybe he's a sacrificial lamb. They say, we'll run this guy because people hate Trump, and then we don't expect him to win again. We'll see. The red wave appears to be showing signs already. But again, it's a special election, so keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are like, that's it, that's the red wave. All right, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm going to try and just keep working throughout the day. So we have a great show tonight on Timcast IRL. Dennis Prager's coming on. He already announced it. So normally we don't announce guests, but Dennis Prager announced he'll be coming on the show. So that should be really, really awesome. And that'll be at 8 p.m. But I'm hoping to have another segment up for you by 1 p.m. I'm going to take it easy, relax. I've been taking way too many NSAIDs. It's bad for my stomach, but we'll see how it plays out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I'll see you all at 1 p.m.